Hey, everybody. It is Eric J. Olson here. We have a live episode of the Managing Partners podcast where we interview America's top managing partners to find out how they fill their pipeline, how they get new clients, and how they keep growing their law firms. So today we have Cheryl Kelly from Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, Cheryl.
Hello. Good morning. How are you?
Excellent. Well, let me tell the audience a little bit about you, and then I can get into the question. So Cheryl Kelly is the owner of C. Kelly Law, which focuses in personal injury and family law. After being a paralegal for a decade, she attended and graduated from the University of Georgia School of Law. She later relocated to Atlanta, eventually started her own law firm in 2018. Did I get all that right? I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Mason was in there because we talked about that too.
Oh, yeah. Before law school. Before University of Georgia, but yeah.
All right. Well, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Hey, I'm great. How about yourself, Eric?
Very good. Very good. Well, tell us a little bit more about you and your law firm.
Well, I am a personal injury and family law attorney here in Atlanta, Georgia. I started off primarily in family law, but because I had a, 10-year basically background in personal injury and medical malpractice, I went ahead and added personal injury to my practice. And I'm now sort of phasing more into personal injury and out of family law. Our firm's been around since 2018. We have grown exponentially every single year since we started. And I really attribute that to the great supportive Atlanta community.
That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about that transition. So so you had a background in personal injury and then you started your firm as family practice. Right. And then you're now transitioning back to personal injury. How did those changes occur in the practice areas?
So I always wanted to do family law while I was in law school. And really mostly because, I had talked to other attorneys while I was interning in various places. And they're like, you need to make sure practice areas that are never going anywhere. People are always going to be divorcing. They're always going to be fighting over their kids or whatever it may be. I decided to go ahead and at least learn those skills. And I wouldn't say burnt out, but I can tell you it is very, very emotional. Family law is very emotional. So I wanted to add something that wasn't quite as emotional, but still very helpful to the community. And so I was adding personal injury back to our practice areas. And thus far, we've been doing very well.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a lawyer, but what is it like when you're working with someone who's either, going through a divorce or, have some sort of family issues or they've been injured and, what is that emotional toll like? What's it like dealing with these kinds of clients? And do you have any suggestions for other managing partners who have to kind of deal with the same emotions?
Well, first of all, I know some people are very gung ho. They're like, oh, we love family law. And I think that's great. And I think that family law needs those types of attorneys. But also don't, if you do find yourself feeling too involved, too emotionally overwhelmed by certain aspects of your cases, it's nothing wrong with adding other practice areas that can kind of supplement what you're doing in family law so that you can, recharge almost. Like, I don't think I'll ever completely, get away from family law because I'm always getting referrals for it. Some cases I'll talk to people just randomly and say, oh my gosh, I really think you need some help in this area. And then I'm your lawyer, so, so I think that, I may not ever get away from it, but I always want to have, the option to sort of take a step back, recharge, my battery in that way. So that's really what I would say. Just keep an open mind to having other practice areas, developing your skill set in other areas that may be of interest to you.
Gotcha. That's great. Great advice. So you said that you've been growing, which is fantastic. Congratulations on that.
Thanks.
I'm guessing that a lot of that has come from referrals. A lot of the managing partners that come on here say that referrals are a great source, and I completely agree. In any business, word of mouth referrals is the best, but it's also somewhat passive. You're waiting for it to happen. What are some different ways that you've actively gone out to get new clients?
So I do a lot of social media promotions. I take advantage of social media because it's kind of a free platform for you. We try to get as many, followers to our page as possible, because then, we can be that sort of top of mind, attorney. And even if they're not calling me about a case that I can handle, at least I'm like the go-to attorney for them to say, hey, well, what can I, is there an attorney that can help me with this particular situation? And then now, everything is kind of funneling through me. Yeah. So I think making sure that your social media is not designed just to talk about yourself, and you're giving a lot of helpful information sort of just for free to people, things that, one marketer, I watched a couple of webinars of his, and he basically said, I can give you the game plan from A to Z, and you're not going to implement it. So the fact that, all I'm just showing you is I know what I'm doing, and you're probably not going to do it. So you're going to probably hire me to do it. And so that was kind of the same concept that I think now, like I can walk you through. I have a whole free uncontested divorce guide. A lot of people are not going to do that because they just don't want to. They don't have the time, they'd rather pay somebody, a professional, which they should, to do their case for them. So that's kind of my thought process there.
That's really cool. It's, social. I agree with you. Obviously, a digital marketing agency, right? I agree. The social media is a very strong way to attract people to you, but it also takes a lot of effort. Oh, yeah. And you have to have a strategy behind that. What is kind of your strategy? So, you mentioned like, to kind of like put into my own words what I heard you say. You don't just post about just the law firm and like straight up like law issues. You're probably going beyond that a little bit.
Yeah, we do some sort of polls about things that are related to the law. I mean, we have a lot of like these high profile divorces where, someone has to pay somebody hundreds of thousands for spousal support, and so we ask our followers, like, what do you think about this? And then we'll give them like the legal perspective on certain things. We do, of course we brag when we have a really great settlement in a car accident, because in those marketing strategies have to be a little bit different. Family law and personal injury, because people want to know how much money you're going to win them at the end of the day. So I do that, but I also give them advice. Even if you don't want to hire an attorney, here's the things that I think you should be doing just in case down the line you decide you want to pursue some type of claim. So I think that just giving them free sort of resources and letting them know that you are sort of the authority on this thing, and they can come to you whenever they're ready, is to me, it's been helpful. And I get a lot of clients who actually, I've gotten some from social media who had finished with treatment, done their whole case, and all they needed me to do was send out the demand letter. And now I'm getting like $40,000 from this case that the client already did because they watched me for 3 months or whatever on social media.
That's fantastic. Now you've implemented a lot of different techniques from marketing books and others that I follow. So there's a book called They Ask You Answer, which is all about any question that your potential clients have. You answer it in video, social media, in writing. Gary Vaynerchuk, was he the marketer you were referring to before?
No, it was actually, I think it was a guy named Andrew Stickle. He does some like attorney legal marketing. Some of his methods seem to be pretty helpful. They've been pretty helpful for me. So yeah. Yeah,
no, it's a lot of the similar concepts like give.
Yeah.
And then at some point you'll ask, right?
Yeah. I mean, even, sometimes that even leads to referrals. So, it's not just people find you on the internet and now they hire you, but I get, I follow a lot of professionals too. And, realtors around the area or chiropractors or whatever. And I'll, say, hey girl, love your shoes or whatever, comment on their stuff. And now they're like, oh, my aunt got in a car accident, or my cousin needs a divorce. And so now I still consider it a referral, but it came by way. I've never met these people in real life.
Yeah. It's networking a scale, which is great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's that seems to be working. You have growth behind you. What are your growth plans though for the next 2 to 5 years? Do you want to continue to grow?
Absolutely. I definitely want to continue to grow. Probably will add at least maybe 2 more attorneys to the staff. We're going to, definitely scale up our marketing budget. Just commensurate with what we have earned this year. And so hopefully that will, cause us to have another really good year next year. So we're already, crushing goals this year. So
good for you. And I saw on your Instagram stories that you are hiring a full-time paralegal. So
yes, we are. Anybody in the Atlanta area that is experienced in family law and personal injury, we are seeking a full-time paralegal.
Excellent. All right, let's talk about some tools that you use in your practice. How do you use tools to manage your pipeline? What are those tools?
So I use MyCase as a case management system. They have what I really appreciate about MyCase is that they have sort of implemented a lot of suggestions. Like if people email them or send them suggestions, they will start to beta test things and start to upgrade the software very quickly. And because of that, I have seen so many new features, like a much more robust CRM, lead management pipeline situation. And that has helped a lot because I don't have to, toggle from one app to the next app. I can, accept payments on MyCase, communicate with the clients in various ways. So I can text them directly from the software. I can, make sure I send them messages via portal. Calendars can be connected between Google and MyCase. So I'm such a cheerleader for MyCase. That has been a really good case management system for me. I know a lot of people really like Clio and some other ones, but and I think Filevine has been one that I've been hearing a lot. But I really, really like MyCase. One app that I plan on implementing in my business, which I haven't yet, but I love the features, is Zapier.
Oh, yeah.
Like the idea that I can connect all these apps and not have to, if I collect, lead name information and all that, it can go straight to Zapier and then go to all of my, follow-up marketing apps. Wow, that's amazing. So, yeah, we are in the process of implementing that now.
I am a huge fan of Zapier.
Mm-hmm.
This whole agency runs on Zapier.
Oh, yeah.
As a matter of fact, at this morning's meeting with my team, I was showing someone the Zap that we have every time someone books to be a guest on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And we have something like 35 steps. And that's just how much linking we're doing, right?
Yeah,
so,
do that manually. Oh my God.
Reminder emails, and then all the tasking. We have to create the image for the podcast. We have to schedule it in the software. All the things that you try to remember to do, we can put those all in tasks, all the follow-up, everything. So super great tool. Highly recommend it. We're on a pretty high plan now because we just keep adding more and more and more.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's just, you won't forget once you automate. So
Absolutely.
Good call. Awesome. So speaking of things like follow-up and whatnot, when you get a lead, right, when a potential client comes to you, and they express interest in maybe working with you, not every one of those is going to lead to a client and a case. My guess is that you have to somehow nurture them along. Some of them are just like, well, let me think about it. And then if you don't follow up and nurture, you may never hear from them again. What do you do to kind of nurture those clients along?
So I personally call them back. Like after a consultation, if I have like sort of a holding pattern, like if they didn't sign the agreement or they didn't make a payment or whatever it was right in the consultation, then I'll follow up in about a week. I try not to be too pushy. I know. I've talked to some, business coaches and, marketing experts, and they're like, no, ask them why they don't want to make a decision today. Like, make them feel bad about it. And honestly, I get so much, return business that I don't have a problem with just saying, hey, look, I'm here for you when you need me. Like, I understand this is a situation where you really want to think about this. And I'm a proponent of healthy families and healthy marriages and all that. So I understand if you don't want to, hire a lawyer and go down that path right now, but I'm going to go ahead and like send you some resources. I have this free guide, just, things you may want to talk about with your spouse before you come back to see me. And I'll leave their contract open for a little while, and then I'll like send them a letter to let them know, hey, look, I'm going to go ahead and cancel the contract until you're ready. So that kind of thing. Just, I think I follow up in like a personal, compassionate kind of way. Like I'll review the notes like, well, we did talk about this, so you may want to address it quicker, sooner than later, but up to you, So yeah, that's typically how I follow up on family law cases. Personal injury, that's more of an aggressive, kind of follow up. You have to, get their trust very quickly. And I do a lot of that personally as well. I do plan on sort of training someone who I guess, like a salesperson to help me out with that. But in Georgia, most of the time that type of communication has to be directly with an attorney. So I want to, kind of see where the ethical lines kind of are on that as far as getting salespeople to like get people in the door. So
gotcha. No, I think that's a great concept. At least just getting some sort of sales training, right? Mm-hmm. Even if you don't have a dedicated salesperson, if you and others in your company can start to learn the language of sales, and I would imagine that would have a big impact. So
definitely.
All great thoughts. I've really appreciated the conversation. If someone wants to reach out and ask you a question, or maybe they have a referral for you, what's a good way for them to get in touch with you?
So they can call our office. We have a local number, which is 678-831-5100. And we have a 1-800 number, which is 844-I-WIN, the number 4GA.
There you go.
Also visit our website at win, the number 4GA. So win4ga.com, and shoot us a message and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Thanks so much. And for anyone who's listening, if you would like more awesome episodes like this, check out the full lineup at arraylaw.com/podcast. And if you would like to crush your marketing like Cheryl is with her law firm, and you need a little bit of help, reach out to us at arraylaw.com and we will help you fill your pipeline. All right, Cheryl, thanks so much.
Thank you. Have a good one.